Democratic influencer Harry Sisson is feeling the heat on social media, but is it warranted? I actually say no. We'll get to that. Republican state delegate and precinct chair Sarah Fields has written a thread on social media about Sisson that went very viral yesterday. In it, she discusses Sisson being accused of luring 11 women into sending him explicit photos and lying to them by saying he had no roster, I guess, of attractive women he was talking to. Fields alleges that one of these women was a domestic abuse survivor, although, again, what the relevance of that is anyone's guess. Fields writes, a request to the reader, set political differences to the side. I believe both sides of the aisle can agree that this is unacceptable behavior from a man-child with collectively over 2 million followers.
Fields gathered footage of some of the women speaking out and summarized their sentiments.
In one instance, a woman named Carly said that Harry wooed her from the very beginning and conceded to sharing explicit photos with him. After 6 months, Carly says Harry called it off. Carly said Sisson should have made his intentions more clear since he allegedly told her she was wifey material and that he was sold on her wifey application. Carly also says she was dealing with depression after a traumatic car accident and that Harry allegedly pounced and took advantage of her sadness. Carly said, I'm fighting for accountability, not only for myself, but on behalf of everyone who believed this guy was someone he's not. Fields also mentions a woman named...
Good morning, Owasso. This is Chad with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Yes, as I brought up yesterday, Harry Sisson has been brought up in the news for a scandal that he has been kind of leading around a bunch of girls on Snapchat and other social media things. Just going to show you that he's kind of a scumbag, which we kind of always knew because he is a Democratic shill that's getting paid by the DNC to do all of his talking points. And I've already shown the video where Nuance Bro does a full deep dive into this, exposing him for who he is. Now, this story has been brought up because this girl, Sarah Fields, has found all these girls that he was talking to, and they're all sending him nudes, and all sending nude photos, or at least explicit photos to him. And, he's just like, I just by looking at him, I can tell he's a scumbag. I always thought that from day one, but a lot of these TikTok influencer types are, because all they do is they are a pretty face. They have no bona fides. I mean, it's the same thing with Jake Paul and Logan Paul and all these guys. Like that, they're kind of good-looking, preppy douchebag types, and that's the claim to fame. Now you could argue, well, at least one of them's the boxer now or whatever, but that was their claim. What was their claim to fame before that? Being TikTokers, being Viners, or whatever the heck it is. Doing stupid prank videos. All these influencer types usually start out as massive D-bags. And girls love them because they're famous. Like, oh my gosh, he's got 1 million views. He's got 1 million followers. Oh, swoon. So just go to show you, like, is there accountability here on the women's part for not doing these things? Absolutely. Girls, it's time to grow up and realize that not every guy that's famous is going to be a Prince Charming and sweep you off your feet. No, he's a douchebag that's just there to use you and then move on. Guys who are this popular and this influential, famous, whatever, can have just about any girl they want. You are in a line. That's why it's called having a roster. Like, you are a roster, and you need to hold yourself to a higher standard. Like, this is why you don't do these things. If they really care about you, they don't just want to see nudes or just want to hook up with you. If they actually really care about you, that's why you're supposed to put you're supposed to put your faith in God, that you'll find a godly man that doesn't just want you for those things. Not a worldly man that's there like for clout. And that sums up influencers to a T. But getting to it, they said, but they also have the Daily Wire. It said it's kind of two scandals right now, like this Harry Sisson kid for the left, and then on the right, I've got the Daily Wire scandal where Jeremy Boring, the CEO of the Daily Wire, is stepping down. So we'll talk about both of those here in just a second. Let me pull up my screen over here, and we can start going through all these little stories here. So, and as you can see, even from that from the Hill, like they're playing defense for this kid. It's like this kid identifies as a male feminist and complete Democratic Party platform hack. Like he goes for all these things. Like I don't see how you can be advocating for climate change and women's rights and then be using and abusing women like he's doing right now. Like Democrats go after conservative politicians and commentators for not being good husbands all the time. Like, you're supposed to be Christian. Well, if you're going to judge a Christian for not being the best husband, father, or whatever, you can't claim to be a male feminist and then use and abuse women like this kid's doing. And he does claim to be a male feminist. And that's partially actually about that little story at the Hill they go into. They talk about how it's like, they're like, oh, this is a non-story. They're just blowing this out of proportion. It's like, no. And like I said, the lady even says this, well, if he identifies as a feminist, then yeah, this is kind of a problem. He does identify as a feminist. He does. So, again, it's the left holds water for their own. Like, Anthony Weiner was caught talking to underage girls multiple times, several times, underage girls. And the left he is still a big deal in the Democratic Party. Bill Clinton was accused of with several different women while he was married, and he was supposedly a Christian and a feminist type and all this. And Democrats still love him to this day. Oh, he was one of the best presidents we ever had. But Donald Trump is accused of, impropriety with women. How could anyone vote for someone like that? It's absolutely reprehensible. You have to have a standard, a common standard. It has to stay the same for everybody. It's absolutely ridiculous. But we'll go ahead and get into this article first. So DNC's favorite TikToker, Harry Sisson, has accused of lying women to get them to send nudes. DNC's favorite Gen Z TikTok influencer, who was once interviewed former President Joe Biden, is in hot water with fans after he was accused of lying women in order to get them to send nudes. But the internet is divided and his allegedly speedy behavior. 11 women have publicly called out Harry Sisson, 23, claiming the Irish influencer, yeah, remember, this guy is not American, with over almost 2 million followers on TikTok, led them on claiming that they were exclusive and that he would get them to send them explicit pics. Sisson built up a huge following and ran up to the 2024 presidential election for his posts in support of Biden, even interviewed the commander-in-chief in May. He regularly shares anti-Trump posts and simpering messages in support of such figures as Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Now he's been accused of using his status on the rising star among dim influencers to manipulate a gullible roster of women online. Sarah Fields, a conservative influencer and Republican state delegate in Texas, brought this story to light after a number of women involved in the posted their version of events in TikTok. Harry Sisson convinced 11 different women that he had no roster, respected them for their more than just their bodies, while persuading them to send explicit pics of themselves through Snapchat, including one of the domestic abuse survivor Sarah Fields claimed in a now viral X thread. I will never lie to you, says Harry. We're not exclusive, and I made it. We're not exclusive, and I made it abundantly clear that I did not want that, and you said it was fine. I haven't done anything that I wasn't allowed within parameters we set. Why are you screenshotting? When women discovered each other one by one, he called them all insane and attempted to coerce one of them into telling them publicly that the photos were fake. One of the women, Carly Hosch, shared pictures of this message Sisson allegedly sent her on Snapchat, in which he denied he was getting nudes from a bunch of girls. Right now, I can't do exclusivity, the message reads. No, not because I'm getting nudes from a bunch of girls or effing girls and stuff. I don't hook up with anyone ever, but because I just don't think I'd be that able to commit 100% to some. Good Lord. Hosh also claimed that she was wooed into setting up a private chat where she shared nudes with the influencer, believing him to be, according to the viral TikTok, that he does not name Sisson directly. In the video, she claims that Sisson described her as wifey material, and then after 6 months of talking, he told her that he didn't want anything serious, sparking an argument. I never lied to you, Sisson reportedly wrote, response over Snapchat. We were not exclusive. I made it abundantly clear that I did not want you, and you said that was fine. I haven't done anything. I wasn't allowed. The perimeters are set. Yeah, sounds like real scumbag material, this kid. Another woman, Sarah, who describes herself as a domestic abuse survivor, claims Sisson led her on and that she sent him many explicit pictures because she believed that he was a person who was genuinely cared for women more than just for her body in her own TikTok video. Another woman, Hannah, who said that she was known Sisson since he was 18, described him as a sick pervert individual, claimed he was same effing guy that was going to end up effing political. He was going to be effing political hierarchy that has all these allegations but has too much power within to ever be taken down. Yeah, sounds about right. Sounds like this kid. But he looks like a twink. I can't believe like girls fall for these like little skinny twink looking guys. The fallout left many online divided, with some calling this action predatory and gross, while others are saying the story is a tempest. It was a whole tempest in a teacup. Ladies, male feminists are predators. Watch out, one user wrote. You mean to tell me a Democratic youth person is a perverted idiot? Who would have thunk? Said a second ex-user. He's a loser, but what's the issue? Everyone seems to be of age. He's just another fame using his fame for sexual gratification like every other male celebrity, said one user. Sisson, who attended New York University and was reportedly born in Singapore, did not respond immediately to requests for comment. His most recent post shows his selfie of him on the street and does not directly reference the claim made about him. Feeling good today. Let's continue to fight for democracy and stand up and focus on stopping Trump, he wrote. Yeah. He's going to just deny and deflect right now. That's what he's in. This kid is a political animal, always has been. His whole upbringing was to be a young pretty boy to get impressionable young girls to vote Democrat. That's all he is. He is a psyop. He is a Democratic Party psyop to get young, impressionable women to vote Democrat. Hey, girls, I care about you, and I care about the feminist voice. Donald Trump doesn't care about feminist values. Well, obviously, neither do you, because you're just as bad as Donald Trump. Oh, God. But, yeah, as you can see, several articles have been written about this. I've been checking up on it. There's a whole freaking like thread on Twitter just talking about this, and it is spicy stuff. Pull this up right here. Let's see. Yeah, here's that whole thread right here from Sarah Fields. Harry Sisson convinced 11 different women that he had no roster and respected women for their more than their bodies while persuading them to send nude photos of themselves. But yeah, and there's his little buddy right here. And they're all denying it. Now, they're all crazy. They're all insane. They're just all the girls just go down this whole thread of all these things. And they're posting their screenshots. He does the exact same thing every single time, ladies. Like, you're not different. You're not special, ladies. This is why you need to find yourself a good, godly man. Because these dudes send the exact same thing. They have their way of doing things. And they just do it for every girl. He'll check this one out right here. This is a video.
If he had flat told us, hey, I am talking to other people. When we asked, when all, like a fucking dozen of us asked, hey, are you talking to anybody? Instead, he lied and said he did not have a roster and that he was not talking to anybody.
Yeah, there you go. This is why you don't just give it up, girls, to the first guy with a pretty face and says, oh, I only care for you, baby. Said, yeah, this guy is a playboy. He is he's going the way of every single young man that gets fame and power, like, immediately. Like, people flock to you, especially girls, highly impressionable young girls that become extremely obsessed and possessive. I mean, like, girls can get obsessed over celebrities and singers, whatever, over a celebrity crush and follow them like around, like obsessively. And everyone goes, oh, that's cute. That's so cute. But if a guy does it, everyone sees it as weird, obsessive, and stalker behavior. Girls, you are being that. There is a female equivalent of that, and it's called a groupie. You're basically a groupie. And it's not attractive. No dude wants to be with a girl that's... No good man wants to be with a girl that's obsessed with another man. This is why you need to find yourself, again, a godly man. A very godly man. But yeah, you can go through that whole thing, but here's me. Come on, girls, send nudes. I love this one. Is it that gay dude again? Which I've always thought that this kid was gay. He's too much of a pretty boy. But yeah, here is Sarah Fields right here, and she's the one that broke this news. We'll play just a little bit of this so you guys can see.
Shall we? So before I get into these around 50 screenshots providing evidence and context for anything that I have said, I do want to reiterate something just for even more context. I met Harry in summer of 2020. We were both kind of like the original political TikTokers, and we were on the Dem High Pass, which was a huge political TikTok account. Our relationship has always been friend-based. However, when I did go to Jersey to visit my aunt, he has a summer house there, so we did hook up a couple times. So it was kind of like friends with benefits, but it was kind of established that if we saw each other in person, we'd probably hook up. But our conversations outside of seeing each other in person or whatever were never really like flirty or anything like that. So I was never under any sort of impression that we were exclusive ever. We never were like that. So my story is going to be different than a lot of these girls. Just putting that out there. So up until about maybe the beginning of 2023, I would have considered Harry one of my best friends. And let me know if you see a pattern here. But what really kicked that off was that he was the one recording my rapist when I called him and got him admitting to raping me on audio, okay? Which was great, whatever. And then Harry started drinking. So when Harry started drinking, he started getting a lot more aggressively flirty. I apologize for my hand tremors, I can't control them, but if you want to pause and screenshot those, these are times in which Harry was getting obliterated drunk and calling, FaceTiming, and saying very sexual things to me. I didn't really care. You know, it's whatever, drunk words, sober thoughts, you get it. And then this is when I noticed kind of a shift in Harry. He started to gain a lot more attention, a lot more of a following, and he created a Discord, in which it was a very exclusive Discord, and very strange, creepy people were allowed in the Discord. I was in it for a little bit, but I was like never allowed to talk in it, so that's where Harry meets somebody named Camille, okay? I was advised not to, by my father, not to pursue an internship or a job with this Camille guy because my dad said he looked sketchy. Harry decided to go ahead and do so. And this is when I started getting messages from a minor, whom I will not say the name, with autism, who is also in the Discord. He was probably around 14 at the time. And he was sending me some concerning things regarding what Camille would send to him. Those are things I cannot show for legal reasons, but very much so did happen, and I contacted his mom, everything. But you know who was working for him? Harry. And I told Harry about everything that Camille was doing. Here's the proof of that. This is a conversation between Camille and the minor in question. Camille texts him, why do they know so many details then? Why do they have screenshots? And in those same texts, you will see him saying he's going to lose a business partner, aka Harry. Now, Harry would respond with, yeah, that's super messed up. I won't work for him anymore. That's crazy. And then I got this message from the minor saying that Harry still is working for Camille. So I reach out to Harry. And this is the conversation from that little debacle. And then it got to a point wherein I was seeing if I should be contacting the police because this minor happens to be based internationally. He's not in America. And I advised Harry that I'm doing so, and he starts advising me not to do so. through call, through FaceTime audio, mind you. But here's the conversation about him advising me not to do so. And if you see with all of the other girls too, he loves calling women lunatics, they're crazy, conspiracy theory.
Pause it. Because they can go into that. We'll be there for forever if we just keep going into that. But as you can see, this is why it's so important that you know exactly what your kids are doing. Because they're being taken advantage of by monsters in the like Harry Sisson and this Camille guy. Because they're going into these people's discords. They are becoming their groupies and stuff, and they give them just a little chat, and then they start chatting with these people. This is how predators have more access to your kids now than they ever did before with technology. This is why it is so important that I say, like, do not get your kids smartphones. Just get them old-fashioned flip phones that are like texting and phone calls, and that's it. Because this is how predators are getting a hold of your kids. And then you have this kid here, Harry Sisson, who's defending it. It's like he goes, I'm going to lose a business partner. I don't want to lose a friend. Like, you're defending a guy who is having conversations with a minor. Now, granted, we don't know where this minor is. Maybe they're overseas and that's the age of consent there, but this is America. We're going to hold them by the American standard of this, which is 18 or over. So this is like undefensible here. Now, granted, she's talking about stuff in the past, so maybe he was a minor at this time. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know enough about this Camille guy and Harry Sisson. Like, I try to avoid talking about this kid unless he just posts one of those freaking Defiant L moments where, like, he says something about Trump that's bad, but something very similar or the exact same case for Biden or Kamala Harris, it's fine. We're cool. Because I like watching those things. But other than that, I try to avoid stuff like this because I can't handle just watching scumbag douchebags like that all the time. It would drive you crazy. This is why you need to get off of social media. I just try to read the news and call it a day. It's stuff like this that drives me nuts because these are truly monstrous people that do stuff like this. But yeah, that's about all we'll stick on that. The next big story that I have here is Jeremy Boring stepping down from the Daily Wire. And everyone, I think, is kind of blowing this out of proportion, but we'll read the article and everyone can kind of just feel for themselves. All right. We'll start with the video because this guy definitely gets a lot of stuff wrong. I mean, a lot of stuff wrong. I've even watched other videos already that have like debunked like half the stuff that this guy like brings up about Jeremy Boring and like the Daily Wire and like people trying to trick people into buying the Daily Wire because it's bankrupt. Who knows? But we'll see. We'll listen to him and then we'll read the actual like article from Axios.
The Daily Wire is going bankrupt, allegedly, and Jeremy Boring is officially out as CEO. That's right. The self-proclaimed God King of the Daily Wire is at the heart of
Which I never liked that nickname. I can't believe he did that, especially as a Christian. That's a little like blasphemous, in my opinion. So this is probably why he's being forced to step down. Like, if you believe in, cosmic justice, I would say that this is, a God's way of smacking Jeremy Boring in the face a little bit.
so many scandals. And yes, he is self-described as the God King. And the email just went out today internally that he is stepping down, and now Axios is covering the story. It has not yet broken, as far as I'm aware, that private equity is moving in and looking to buy up the Daily Wire. I heard, rumor mill, that Silver Lake Capital is looking to buy them up. And yo, Silver Lake, you guys might want to watch this video before you think too hard about it, because there's a lot that is not in the public square right now. We're about to get into stuff like canceled credit cards, lying to the press, trying to trick Tim Pool. As far as I can tell from my sources, even people inside of the Daily Wire only know part of the story, and they're all kind of getting played against each other. It's a whole mess. And the most important part of this mess is that the Daily Wire has a long history of treating their employees like shit. And so I've had numerous sources inside the Daily Wire for quite some time because everyone hates them, even their own people. That's not to mention the numerous sources outside of the Daily Wire that did not take the NDA money on the way out. Like, I had people literally in my comments on Instagram offering to give me dirt on the Daily Wire because they hated the Daily Wire so much. It's out of control. And it all centers around the God King and his fucking massive ego. and his lifelong desire to be a famous actor and make it in Hollywood, which he failed at originally years and years and years ago. And so once the Daily Wire was off the ground, he just couldn't help but try to turn the Daily Wire into a Hollywood movie studio and produce the Pendragon series. Note that this article is from 2023, and he said that he had dreamt of bringing this book to the screen for 25 years. It was due to stream exclusively on Daily Wire Plus.
I'm just going to stop it right there. But yeah, a lot of conjecture and a lot of rumors from this guy's work. Now, there's a bunch of stuff that's probably true. I have heard that the Daily Wire is in financial straits, mainly due to their movie studios and trying to become a movie studio, which I think is an admirable thing. Like, let's get Hollywood away from Hollywood, where all the casting couch and like sketchy stuff is going on. Take the power away from Hollywood. I'm all for that. I think that's very admirable by the Daily Wire. But making movies is expensive. It's extremely expensive. The profit margins are completely negative until you sell the movie to like a big studio that'll buy it up and, send it around to the movie theaters or whatever. And now he's like Jeremy Boring's from old school Hollywood, where you make a movie and you're releasing it in the theaters. But like I said, we're in the new age where streaming services are taking over. Like, Hollywood is dying. Mainstream news media is dying. And all because of streaming services now. Independent platforms, independent YouTubers. The landscape of media and film is changing. It's completely changing, and everyone's trying to play catch up and figure out what's going on. And two, Tim Pool was never in talks for purchasing the Daily Wire. Why they thought that Tim Pool was purchasing the Daily Wire is ridiculous. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The Daily Wire was in talks with Tim Pool for buying him out, or buying like some of his content, like some of his shows that he puts on, like the what's it called, like the Culture War, or some of his other stuff that he does. I forget. He's got a whole bunch of different like segments that he does. So that's what they were in talks for. It was the other way around. The Daily Wire was wanting to buy Tim Pool content, not Tim Pool buy the Daily Wire. Why on earth anybody thought that he could afford that? Like, the Daily Wire is a multi-million dollar company now. Tim Pool, is probably well off, but I don't think he's that level yet. But we'll go ahead and read the article from Axios right here and see what's actually going on, at least the stuff that we can get out from the Daily Wire. Jeremy Boring, co-founder of the Daily Wire, is stepping down his role as co-CEO to focus exclusively on creative projects for the company. He told staff in a memo obtained by Axios on Tuesday. Why it matters. Jeremy Boring has been with the Daily Wire since its inception in 2015. He helped grow the outlet from the tiny news startup with $4.7 million in a seed fund to start the media giant, valued net worth of $1 billion last year. Wow, so it's a $1 billion company now. Yeah, there's no way Tim Pool would have ever been able to afford that. State of play. Caleb Robinson, the company's founding CEO, will become the company's full-time CEO effective immediately. Robinson and Boring have been co-CEO since 2019. Robinson co-founded the company alongside Boring and the outlet's editor, Ben Shapiro. In a note to the staff, Boring said he will remain in the company in an advisory role. He will continue to host the Daily Wire Backstage and company's monthly show featuring Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, and Andrew Klavan. He will focus full-time on creative projects, including the completion of the Daily Wire's TV series, The Pendragon Cycle, in which he serves as the director and executive producer. Okay, so it sounds like to me that maybe some of his financial decisions could have caused this, or, other side note, maybe he doesn't want to go to all these board meetings anymore, like pulls him away from doing his passion, which is making movies. So there is an issue there too, is like, if you're the CEO of a company, you have to go to every meeting. You're going to be called away to every freaking meeting issue that happens within your company. Well, now he's just freed himself up to just be the podcaster and filmmaker now. So now he's got more time to do what he wants to do. Maybe that's what happened. Or again, maybe it's his financial decisions that have been leading the company astray with the film project, and they're like, we got to get you out of this position, Jeremy. You're making piss poor decisions. We don't know. It could be a little bit of both. Little column A, little column B. We don't know. Zoomed out, Boring has led the Daily Wire commercial expansion over the past decade, growing the outlet from a social media publishing brand to a streamer and e-commerce giant. Most notably overseeing the creation of the Daily Wire Plus subscription service and Binkley, the subscription streamer for kids. He has also built the company's e-commerce business into a multi-million-dollar revenue. What's next? Robinson and Shapiro plan on continuing pursuing growth and investments in 2025. Weekly breakdowns of, is this? Yeah, we're done. So is that really it? Wow, that wasn't much of an article, was it? But yeah, that's what we know. So, hey, sounds to me like it could be a little bit of both. Of him just stepping down, but maybe he's just tired of being the CEO. We don't know. All this stuff that this guy over here is saying is just conjecture, is rumor and conjecture. And I've already proven to you that some of it is completely wrong. So I don't know where this guy's getting his sources from. And like, if there's a bunch of people out there, that hate the Daily Wire, that are probably just sending out bogus crap to this guy's like, this is what I heard. Or maybe I used to work for them like 5 years ago or used to make content for them. And like, they're pissed off and they're just looking for any outlet to attack. We don't know. That's why we don't need rumors. We need actual facts. We need people who are there and they'll come out in the open. But, that's also how you get fired. If it's somebody that still wants to work there. But if they're so shady and so sketchy and you hate working for them, why are you working for them? Go work for somebody else. There is another media company that you can go work for. It's ridiculous. But, and that's really just about all I've got for today. I'm going to try to find a video to play us out with. But that's really all I've got for today. Yeah, we'll play it. Does this have music? We got to find out if this has music. Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's what I'll end us out with. But because all the Teslas are still all coming under attack and all that fun stuff. So let me go ahead and transition here. And I will end our show out. Well, that's all I've got for today. This is Chad with Owasso Live, and this was The Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But that's all I've got for today. I'll see you on the next episode. See you later, everybody.
Make America great again. That's crazy. Aiden Ross's Cybertruck is an absolute fucking joke. I'm lying, I'm dying, but this one, living and giving. Champs here, man, Make America great.